I'd like to show you a Smart in 4K versus Octopus in 4K comparison. So let me tell you a little bit about the hardware first. Hardware is an OPS module on the back of the screen. It's a full 4K resolution, 200% DPI, very standard. The processor itself, 6th generation i5, single chip of 8 gigs of RAM, integrated graphics. Okay, this is not a dedicated graphics. This is not a power horse of a PC. This is very, very standard, kind of entry-level stuff here that I'm doing this comparison on, so you can easily see the difference. So the first thing I want to show you is the UI of Notebook. In terms of 4K, it's not a 4K UI. It's not a 4K compatible UI. It's not been designed for 4K. There are icons here on the left, these tabs and things in here that are not easy to see or click on or tap, especially if you're using a finger or a pen. We've got text that doesn't fit correctly. Down here, very, very small buttons, for example, adding a new slide, slide navigation, and things like that. In addition to the UI, the page itself isn't actually a 4K page. It's actually just 800 pixels. That's the width. That's 800 pixels width on a 4K screen. This is why we have to zoom into the page width. So everything is just basically 800 pixels zoomed up. And next we have the pen performance. The pen performance is probably not satisfactory on this particular hardware. You're going to have to follow Smart's recommendations on this and invest in a desktop PC with dedicated graphics. That's currently their recommendation. They don't recommend laptops because they say that in 4K laptops don't have the power to run 4K, and you're going to have issues with the pen speed. It's more noticeable doing things like multi-touch. The multi-touch pen is still drawing even whenever I've moved away from the board. So doing things that require speed. First, for example, you can see the pen wasn't keeping up, so it's easy to get confused whenever you're writing, and also it doesn't actually take note of the exact path that my pen just took. So Smart's resolution or solution to this is actually to run the software overriding the application DPI and using the system DPI instead. So Smart Notebook has now been reopened following those steps that Smart themselves recommend. What we can see here is that the UI is now correctly scaled, but at the cost of quality. The UI is now blurry, it's pixelated, it's difficult to make some icons out, and indeed the pen, while faster, is pixelated also. So it's not a 4K viable solution because it doesn't have the 4K experience, it doesn't give you the sharpness, the reason that you got a 4K screen in the first place. So what's the answer? Well, we think the answer is Qwizdom Octopus. Octopus is a true 4K solution. The reason for that, it's been designed specifically for 4K. The icons, everything about the application is rendered beautifully. Everything is sharp and crystal clear. It's touch friendly as well. So whenever we do things like let's just write the word hello as well. You can see how fast that pen was. Big drag handles for resizing or moving about, rotation, things like that. Everything is going to give you a great 4K experience. And because it's super fast, you can depend on it to be your everyday application for your whiteboarding needs.